Welcome back to Illiterate Book Club, and we have just got through watching John Wick Chapter 3.
Trace. Yeah.
So, what was your thoughts first off?
Well, overall, I mean, it was a really cool movie. I mean, the action was insane. It kind of picks up. I mean, I don't think it's really a spoiler to say it picks up right after the events of the last movie.
Yeah, almost. It
Yeah.
feels like almost immediately. but-
Right, right. I mean, this was like, directly a chapter after,
Right. But even time wise.
yeah,
you're just
exactly.
Looking right at it.
Definitely cool. It built more towards the mythology. I thought, Halle Berry was incredible. I thought the action seemed even more stepped up than it did in the last one.
Intense action, like nonstop.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes, you start getting action and very few breaks.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, other than for the sort of story development exposition parts.
Yeah.
But the action sequences are long,
Right.
well choreographed, varied,
Yeah.
and they upped the brutality, I felt like.
Yeah,
in
they
this
did
one.
up the brutality, which honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like overtly gory stuff, but it's cool. It matches what they're doing with that movie.
Right. So
So it kind of fits into that world. I mean, if this was going to be strictly based upon like the action, like the review, it would have already been like a 9.5 or a 10, But I think there was some stuff that we'll kind of get into with the story. This is obviously our non-spoiler review, so we won't try to dive too much into it. But there were some things with the story that kind of fell short, in my opinion. So, what about yours? What was, I guess, your overall thoughts?
yeah, I mean,
What anything stand out besides the action for you that you really enjoyed, or
I really liked the lore getting built
Yeah.
up a little more. I thought the tech, the weaponry, the techniques, like all of it developed in a natural way. Like,
Right.
John Wick is, whenever they're like putting him up against more and more difficult opponents, he like ups his own sort of techniques and
Right.
tools that he uses. And so they did a really good job of that. It wasn't just a rehash of the same fights you saw
Right.
from 1 or 2. Like, they really put a lot of effort into making the fight scenes and the things that he did
Yeah.
very unique to this movie.
Well, I think it was kind of cool that, like, and throughout all the movies, they've done really well about, adding more to the lore, adding more to the environment, and just in general, like, that general, I guess, I don't know, like, society of assassins.
Right.
But I think it was cool with this one. They do really well at telling the narrative without just speaking it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like they kind of had some things in there that gave John Wick a little bit of a backstory without, a little bit further into his backstory without just overtly saying, "Oh, here's your story." You know what I mean? It just kind of had
Yeah.
like things happen in the movie that gave you a little bit more.
I really did
insight.
enjoy it. They had a really great scene that gives you a little more background, as you say, visually into how John Wick was raised.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit,
mean-
and maybe like the background where he got his training to do what he does.
Yeah, or at least part of
And
his
like
training,
you
for
kind of
sure.
see the culture that he came out of a little bit, and so
Yeah.
we're not going to talk too much about this one to
Yeah.
keep the spoilers out. But
Right.
yeah, there was like a lot of great development for him as a character
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get more of his backstory, and also they gave him some interesting choices.
Mm-hmm.
In 1 and 2, like in 1, there really wasn't a choice; it was the choice to
Right.
avenge,
Right.
and like that was just clear cut from the beginning.
Right,
And 2, he ended up with a choice at the end.
Yeah.
And now 3, there's some more choices he had to make
Yeah.
that
some
really
more
kind
choices.
of like put a little more glimpse into his character. So they've done
Right.
really well of doing a lot of great visual storytelling
Right.
and also mixing the action with a bit of good character development.
Another character I think that really stood out and kind of had a really cool role in the movie. And I don't want to tell too much about it. It wasn't extremely a long sequence, but it was a very enjoyable sequence. Was Halle Berry's part?
Yeah,
I
and
thought she was really good.
really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we can tell, I hadn't seen the behind the scenes or heard anything about the production, but it looks like she does a lot of the same stuff that Keanu Reeves does.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like her. It doesn't look like it's a stunt double doing the hand-to-hand stuff. I mean, obviously
Right,
they
right.
use doubles for certain types of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, she,
It was cool. It
looks
was
like
cool.
she's going all out, and she's also a great actress and has some
Yeah.
really good
Yeah,
character
dramatic moments. as
dramatic
well.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, anything that kind of, I mean, we kind of mean high praising it. I'll kind of go off of, I guess, me first about some of the things I didn't like without going into spoilers as well. The ending really, it was okay. It was really cool action all the way up into it, but the ending, a few choices were made that kind of left me a little less satisfied than the last one. Like the last one had that super cool ending that was going to set up the next chapter. But this one just didn't feel as satisfying at the ending for me, and I think that dropped it quite a bit of points.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, and I kind of feel the same way in the sense that it was definitely not expected how there's a final moment, and
Right,
so there
right.
to not be too spoilery, there is a bit of a twist.
Yeah.
But in a dramatic storytelling fashion that you would expect, just the choices they made.
Right.
Maybe not. We would have hoped for a different type
Right.
of ending, but
Yeah.
I agree. It was, it the character development took a turn that sort of distracted from
Right.
the rest of the movie a bit.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much. We'll talk more about it in our spoiler review because there's a lot I want to say about it. I'm afraid
Right.
I'm just gonna
So
spit it out
let's put it this way. Let's wait for our ratings to the spoiler review, and just recommendation. Would you tell people to go watch this? Is this something that you would tell people this is good enough? Go see it in the theater.
Absolutely go see it in the theater. Now, I will go ahead and give it my initial number, but I reserve the right to change it in our spoiler review, which will come up in a few days. Let me marinate on it a little bit more.
Okay. So what's your initial?
My initial review, I would say a 7.7.
All right.
That's where my initial number. Do you have an initial number? Would you recommend people seeing it in the theater?
I mean, I would definitely recommend seeing it in the theaters. Obviously, for high quality effects, visuals, action, all of that, great acting.
Yeah, definitely stepped up a
Worth
higher notch.
worth paying your money to see this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold off on the number.
Okay. He's holding off.
I'm holding off.
He's keeping you in suspense.
That's right.
Okay, so we'll be back
to do a full spoiler review. So we'll actually talk about what's going on in detail. So if you don't want to hear that until you watch it, check it out after you watch it. But definitely go see it.
Yeah, we'll be sure to like and subscribe and do all the cool stuff underneath. The like, and then was the comment board and everything. Tell us how bad everything.
How bad he just explained that.
Right.
Leave your comments
my
below.
dog that I love is licking my toes.
Like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, all that fun stuff. Let us know what other kinds of movies and TV shows and all that you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
This is a Little Book Club, so we'll see you next time.